and things just kept coming like that. Now looking back, clear that I was on the right direction, but I didn't know it. I was just like, cool, let's keep going. I was just grinding, head down grinding. I didn't really care about all that stuff. What's up? My name is Lil Fresh Sam, and I am a wardrobe stylist and fashion designer, creative director, many things, but most of all, just creator. And I'm the founder of Infatue. As far as design goes, what catches my eye is something different, something unique, intricate. I really like seeing things that make me think, things that aren't just, we see some of the same things all the time, we see a lot of the same things. So something that is innovative. As far as design and what inspires me around that, I could go outside and just be inspired. I love nature, I love earth, I love natural elements of the world, and those things inspire me so much, the detail in them all. Yeah, I need to do a better job at writing them all down. I tend to be inspired in that moment and let it pass me by and hope I remember it, or I take it and go do something with it if I can in that moment. So yeah, it's one or the other. I think more so I was uninspired. I was so uninspired that I created because there was a need to create, not so much because there was a ton of inspiration around me. I didn't grow up in a big city, so if you grow up in a big city, you're constantly surrounded by a lot of people, a lot of different styles, cultures, places, things. I grew up in Brighton, Colorado. If you know what that is, it's a farm, and there's one main street, So I think I was more inspired to create as a young kid because I was tired of seeing the same stuff in the malls, on the racks. My options were so limited. I was just okay, I'm going to create something because there needs to be something different. And I was tired of not standing in, but I was tired of wearing the same stuff I saw all my peers wear too. I think I was so naive that I was doubts didn't matter to me. I was so young and I was 19, I was so unexperienced in life that I didn't even know what I was about to get into. I didn't know what was coming my way. I didn't know what I was jumping into. Yeah, the doubts happen, lack of resources, lack of a lot of things, starting wise, lack of guidance, lack of direction. Doubt definitely didn't stop me. I made a way, and I there's that slogan, it's if there's a will, there's a way. That's real. That's how my life was as a kid growing up doing this, and so was more my direction that I wanted to go, but it was so unaffordable and unobtainable as a designer here locally to Colorado. So I started making these one-of-a-kind pieces. And that's how those came about, is a need for making different things, but very small budgets and not able to do mass production. I feel when I was younger, I was always, since I could look at photos when I was 2, 1, I think I always had an eye, which is weird, saying that as, looking back at 2 years old, having an eye for design, but just looking at what I wore and what I was drawn to, it definitely started at a young age. And then Infatue, the name was thought in the 8th grade computer lab in my middle school. So I had always known I was going to have a brand from an early age. I just didn't know how I was going to make it happen.
When did you actually start making your first pieces?
19. Yeah, I dropped, I was going to college. Ironically, when you turn 18, you have that decision to make, are you going to college or are you going to work? And
what were you going to college for?
Well, see, I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to go to college for fashion, but that wasn't a reality because it was way out of my price range. And there was only one fashion school here in Colorado. And I was just like not interested too much in spending that amount for that education. When I got to think about it more, I'm like, design comes from my brain. It's not something that's necessarily like taught in a book. I had to make that decision at 18, like go to college because I wanted to make my parents proud. And that's truly the only reason I went to college. So you asked what I went to college for. I was like, I'm going to go to college, but I'm going to try to find any way I can make it worthwhile. And I studied art and business. I made it a semester and then I dropped out because I was like, I had enough of this. I learned enough to know that I don't need this. I was going to class every day and the professor was reading out of a book to me. And I'm like, is that really what this is? Like, okay, cool. I'm going to go read out of my own books and do my own research on what I want to do. And I'm going to invest that money I was spending into, you teaching me or reading out of a book to me. I'm going to spend that same money and invest in my business. So when I was 19, I dropped out of college. And the next day I was at work because I had a day job. And I was Googling how to start a business, how to start a clothing brand. And from there, I never looked back. It was just, this is it.
Gotcha.
So for me, and it's crazy because I didn't know this as an 8th grader, but like branding is really important, obviously, especially for a brand you want to last centuries. Infatue means to be infatuated with French. And to be infatuated means to be so passionate and in love and obsessed with something. Like, because you do this, so you know what that feels like. Like, you have to eat, breathe, and sleep this shit, or this, your dreams. And that was my way of explaining my love for fashion. I was obsessed. I was so obsessed. Do you see my wall right now? This was my wall as a kid, like in my bedroom. Like I was obsessed. I would do whatever. I would mow grasses so that I could go buy shoes, more shoes and clothes. Like I said, as an 8th grader, I didn't even realize I was creating a lifestyle brand at the time that would live on, decades and soon centuries. But yeah, 8th grade to now, same name, forever gonna be the same. It's interesting how people nowadays look at like popping off, right? Like, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to me? And so as a 19-year-old with no direction, I had no expectations, which was actually a gift in disguise, because we live in an age now where we're like comparing constantly. I didn't have anything to compare to. I didn't have anything to tell me like you're behind or you should do it this way or you need to hurry up. Like, Instagram was just happening. As a 19-year-old doing this for the first time in my city, I didn't, like I said, have anything. I didn't have expectations. I was just like trucking away. I'm like doing this another day, doing it, I'm moving forward. So that is, that was popping off to me. But also, I had a lot of opportunities come my way, ironically. One I didn't even realize at the time. I was, it's funny because it happened again this year, 2023. But 2012, I don't know if I reached out to him or if he reached out to me, but there's a famous actress and model named Dawn Benjamin. Super huge, was on America's Next Top Model. I think he won that. Beautiful dude, inside and out. And he was like, I want to rock your brand to a Grammy party. This is 2012. So like he wore this shirt, and I can show you, it's so funny because back then I thought it was so special because I was doing something different. I literally just put like suede on the side of a baseball tee, but it was different, and back then like you didn't see things like that. It was really cool. So he wore it to the Grammy party, said had a lot of great feedback, and that was a win, that was popping. That was something, that was some momentum. And things just kept coming like that. Now looking back, clear that I was on the right direction, but I didn't know it. I was just like, cool, let's keep going. I was just grinding, head down grinding. I didn't really care about all that stuff. So I guess one of our main slogan is passion in every thread. Design with passion. Like everything I do is with purpose and with passion. That's what I run off of. That's how I design by. I think that goes off into my personal life and my other careers and businesses as well. It's all about, doing things with love and passion. Well, I look back at the words that people tell me. I look back at the words of, I just got asked the other day to like send a video shout out to a little girl who just got accepted into design school. I look back to like that kind of stuff. I look back to messages that tell me I changed their lives or like encourage them to pursue their dreams. That's what gets me going, and that's what keeps me going. So I think the impact of my passion and me chasing my passion is what keeps me going. Every day I live, like I really split my time, like every day, every year, I split my time. Half of it is impact driven and half of it is like business, driven. It's taken a decade, seriously, even longer, because we just made it to 11 years. But, one time somebody told me I was a marketing genius, and I was like, do you know what I do for a living? And they were like, no, you're a marketing genius. And I'm like, I'm a fashion designer. And they're like, no, but you're a marketing genius. And I am just barely understanding what they were talking about. And this is years and years ago. So I never truly understood that I was making a slogan for a clothing brand that was going to last decades and centuries to come. I was just speaking my heart. Like, this is why I wake up out of my bed every morning, made with passion in every thread. I made that when I made the logo, like 2012. So that's always been a thing, and it was very natural, but I didn't know what it was going to be, 12 years later. Like I didn't know I was creating a slogan. I was just like, Google says every logo needs to have a word attached, like I didn't know shit. I was just making things up as I go and literally winging it to this day. And like, I hope that inspires someone, because you don't have to know all the answers and you don't have to know everything to keep going forward, So some of the people I've designed for, some of my favorite people I've designed for is Ashanti, Smino, as you know, captured it. Recently D-Smoke, Method Man, super cool dude. I've styled and worked with a lot of celebrities and influential people. It's cool. I've been on some really cool sets, Stranger Things, Netflix things, and it's always cool. Like it's always like a certain momentum and motivator, being in that moment. It feels like I drank 10 cups of coffee. Like I don't know how to explain, but it's just like all the inspiration and motivation I need all in one little session of like working with someone who inspires me. Like that fuels me for sure. You ever watch those movies as a kid and you leave the theater and you just feel like you could literally conquer the world, like Iron Man? That's how I felt. And so yeah, it's always awesome. I think it more is like now, because we're in 2023, I think it's more of a societal accomplishment. And so for me, it's like, okay, that's cool. I don't necessarily take as much time to acknowledge like those things, because it's like kind of like a worldly success thing. For me, it's like, cool, I'm on the right track. Celebrities are loving my stuff. They have the money to pay for it. Word, And yeah, it makes me feel like I'm on the right track. That's for sure. Okay, so top 5: Alexander McQueen, Oliver Roosteen, Virgil. Who's 2 more? I'm very picky. Donatella Versace, always. She's just, I love the patterns and the prints forever that they've come up with. And then let's just go with Raf, because he's legendary and it's Raf. I love his approach to design. I love his eye. I love his, style. But also I'm really excited to see Pharrell's designs. Like I already know he's going to be one of my top 5. Pharrell just got creative director of Louis Vuitton.
And would that be your lucky number 6 runner-up?
Yes.
Pharrell?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't seen him yet, but what he's going to do for Louis Vuitton, because I'm really excited for that direction, we'll see. Alexander McQueen, oh my God, so inspired by him, and the way he made so much controversial things and conversations happen through his designs, like or his runway shows, like he would make his point. He didn't have to speak a word. All he would do is make this collection and set design and experience, and he would have media talking and newspapers talking for a long time because of it, and it was just really inspiring. Virgil, I loved how he was, and this is unusual for me because I really love intricate detail stuff, but Virgil was able to make simple really cool. Like he did that really well, and I don't think there's a lot of people that can make simple done really well and cool and still design, or unique. Like, yeah, it's like he took average things at Home Depot and turned them into a whole $1 billion business brand. Like, that's incredible. Yeah, all of them are so inspiring. The fact that they are where they are and did what they did. How did the pandemic affect me? It literally ruined my life, and I had to learn how to heal my life. In a short answer. In a long answer, man, COVID...
It started in 2020.
Yeah, I lost all my businesses, all my income streams. I had to completely learn how to live in a different way because I've made my living off creative, being a creative. So when that's completely wiped out, what do? I had to learn that. I also had to learn how to deal with death. I learned how to sit still and deal with my mental health. As an entrepreneur and a creator and a workaholic, that's something I think we avoid a lot and maybe cope through being a workaholic is avoiding trauma, avoiding with our emotions, avoiding, everything we haven't wanted to focus on and deal with. And COVID didn't allow that anymore. I had to sit still, And so now, thank God, we're 2023 and I feel like I can finally say, I'm really grateful to have had that time to go through that and learn and grow, man, because it made me a completely different person. I didn't realize how much trauma, childhood trauma I had and how much it was holding me back. And I feel like since I took that time to learn and then how to unlearn and then deal with it properly, my career, my life, my happiness has catapulted. And I really believe we have to be at real low lows to be able to experience real high highs. And so that's what the pandemic did for me. So, man, you want to hear something cool and crazy? You're the first person I'm going to tell. So I just found I'm going on tour. I'm going to Amsterdam on the 6th. I'm going on a European tour. Going to hit the UK, Netherlands, hit all these places I've never even heard of. So Infatue's coming along. Obviously, we'll be on stage repping. I'll be styling the Far Side and creating content with them and taking my agency that I'm launching next week out there. So that's some really big, exciting, fun things. And it's crazy because that was one of my goals starting this year is I need to go overseas. We're not even into month 3 and it's already booked, I just got the call while we were doing this interview. Yo, I sent the money for the flight, booked that. So I'm very, very fucking excited, man. I know, tour last year with the Far Side changed my life, going around even America and just seeing it for a different perspective. I know Europe is going to change my life, and so I'm so excited. And Infatue, man, all good things. I'm so excited. We're working on getting funding because I can no longer manage it by myself and I can no longer fund it by myself. It's outgrown me completely from a 19-year-old to I'm a 31-year-old, and here we are. So expect a lot of really cool big things for Infatue, proper business, proper campaigns, proper PR, all the things that I just didn't know how to or didn't have the budget for. So I'm really excited all around. Really happy to be right here in life. I feel like this is what success feels like to me. Being in a house that I chose, driving a car that I chose and being able to afford these specific things that I care about in life. I'm not really bougie. It's funny, one of my exes said that I was bougie, but I really just have specific things I like. I like a nice bathtub. I like a nice clean kitchen. It's maybe my OCD, I don't know, but I'm really grateful to be able to afford those things in a city that lacks creative funding, in a city that is one of the most competitive creative cities in America, LA. and to be like doing what I love no matter where I'm at, you know. So for me, that's what success looks like, and I'm really grateful to be in this position and in this moment right now. So 2023 Jordan year. I just want to say, like, use me as proof. I always want to be an example, always want to be a role model and motivator that, like, if I can do it, you can. Like, I'm literally just a representation of a Mexican girl who had a dream from a small city, who really, really wanted it bad enough to do anything for it, you know. And I mean, not anything, but yeah, you know, I worked my ass off and put in the time and the work and the sacrifices. And so there's nothing that makes me different than the viewer watching it right now. And if I can do it, you can do it, and go get it.